So nature is very close to my heart, and I really enjoy walking in the forests, and I love animals, and that is why I moved away from investment banking to climate change, because I'm very, very passionate about this topic. And when we looked at the different, let's say, bad actors in the world of greenhouse gas emissions, one stood out for me, and that was deforestation. Deforestation is really terrible because not only do we cut down trees that were majestic and have been sequestering carbon for a very long time, as you know. Tree in a mature rainforest has an average age of around 400 years and has been sequestering carbon for 400 years. And the terrible crime we're committing as a species is we're cutting them down at an incredible rate of 27 soccer fields per minute, which is about 500 trees per second. And most of those trees, the vast majority, they're being cut and they're being burned. So we're releasing that carbon back into the atmosphere. For me, it was clear that has to stop. So when I looked at solution, I learned more about the carbon markets and how carbon credits as a financial instrument allow the channeling of funding to sustainable development projects that empower communities in these rainforests to create a sustainable way of living that allows them to say no to illegal miners, illegal palm oil plantation operators, and so on and so on. So I thought, that's fantastic, that's what I want to do. And then when I dig deeper and I understood that the carbon markets are not the biggest market in the world, and they really should be. They should be much bigger than the FX market or any commodity markets. Carbon credits should be the biggest market, and they're not. I asked myself, why are they not? And it became clear they're not because barrier of entry is very high. The markets are very fragmented. You have, when you go from the west coast to the east coast of Canada, you go through 4 or 5 different carbon markets that are all not compatible with each other. It was a disaster. So I looked at how we could change this, and it became clear for me that we need to create a global carbon pricing. We need to create a global platform that connects these projects in the rainforests with people. And that is when I started to look at technology solutions. And when we looked at different ways of approaching the challenges, we found that blockchain technology provides fantastic ways to create an accessible and scalable market. So we found a couple of really amazing features of blockchain technology that worked really, really well in this area. One feature is transparency. As I said, if you use a public blockchain, then the information that is stored is accessible by everybody. And the other topic that is really nicely solved is immutability. Data that you store in a blockchain stays and cannot be destroyed or changed. You make changes to the data, but you will always see the history of those changes. So
it's like bookkeeping.
It is like accounting, but the big difference is that it's a ledger that is not stored locally. So if you have a local ledger, and we know there has been a history where some banks have been cooking their books, you can't do that if it's now globally distributed, because, as I said, there's a whole consortium of validators that agree on a change in the data. And even if they do something bad, you will see the history, and then if there was a change, you will be able to track back why was that change made, right? And who did it, right? So the interesting part for us now was, okay, we can take these carbon credits from these forest conservation projects, put them on a blockchain platform, and allow consumers and corporates and governments, which we have successfully done already, to purchase carbon credits, channel funding to these projects in, for example, Cordillera Azul in the Peruvian Amazon. And anybody in the world who wants to see what has been done can open up a blockchain viewer and trace back the funding, which carbon credit was purchased, what it has achieved, and what impact it has made. It's publicly available, and that is a complete game changer. The next thing we can do with blockchain, which again is a game changer, is we're able to do microtransactions. We're able to break down the industry standard of tons of carbon credit, which is how carbon credits are traded around the world. There's just so much work involved in trading a carbon credit. Makes no sense to make smaller volumes, right?